the Commission got in touch with the Polish authorities the same way as we've been reaching out to different member states that have announced or adopted measures of similar nature. And since the action that was announced by the Polish authorities didn't take the path that was initially announced, this didn't warrant any more action from the Commission. And when it comes to different calls from different member states or in different places that we hear about the need to consume local agri-food products, it should be noted that these calls were made even though no enduring supply problems or food shortages or sustained increases in food prices have been observed in Europe since the outbreak of the current crisis. And the Commissioner addressed this issue on several occasions, notably in an exchange with the European Parliament, where he said that shortening supply chains is indeed more sustainable, but he also stressed that the integrity of the EU's single market should be respected. And if and when this integrity is put at stake or questioned, the Commission will take action, as we've been taking since the outbreak of the crisis.
Thank you, Daniel. So let me now move to Odile. Oh, you have a follow-up? Sorry. Sorry, Catherine. Go ahead. You need to press the speak button.
Okay.
There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, so with respect, Daniel, that's not the response I got. The response I got was that you were looking at it and that I wasn't given any feedback on any further developments on the matter. And I mean, putting this aside, the announcement of the Czech MEPs shows that there's a big problem here. And isn't it better to make a clear public statement explaining how these countries actually benefit enormously from the single market and are also major beneficiaries of the common agricultural policy, and make that absolutely abundantly clear so that it might deter some of these more protectionist anti-single market measures that have been emerging.
But exactly, sorry. Indeed, what I said was that there was no further action taken by the Polish government to talk about the example that you mentioned. So this didn't warrant any further action from the Commission. And indeed, we hear calls here and there that go in the sense of the question that you ask, but we are not going to comment on specific ideas or proposals popping up in different member states. What we say in very clear and in an unequivocal way here in the press room or in the engagement with member states or the European Parliament by commissioners, by Commission representatives, is that we are aware of some calls being made, but that these calls do not rely on any real problems regarding supply problems, food shortages, or sustained increases in food prices. That we do agree that an increased focus on local production and consumption and therefore on shorter supply chains can increase the robustness and resilience of the overall agri-food system. But again, as the Commissioner said with the European Parliament, and as we've been repeating on several occasions, the integrity of the single market has to be upheld. The single market and open trade brings benefits to all member states. We are an agri-food powerhouse worldwide, but also every member state has exchanges of agri-food products with each other. So we need to also make sure that we also have at EU level and at member state level access to a wide range of essential inputs that cannot be sourced locally, be it fertilizers, packaging, fuel, food additives, etc. And again, Europe is also an important exporter of food products. So in a nutshell, we've been very vocal in terms of rebutting the idea that this would be the way to go to address some of the problems that we are facing since the outbreak of the crisis. And when member states took action that was putting in question the integrity of the single market, the Commission took very quick, firm, and decisive action.
Thank you, Daniel. I think, Catherine, you have your clear statement. I don't know why it may not have reached you before, but the fact is that our position is abundantly clear, as has just been repeated by Daniel. Let me now move to Odile. On réessaye.